Are you trying to find the perfect foodie resort for adults only to host your destination wedding at? In this video, I'll go over some of my favorites. Hi, I'm Jack with Vacationies, and I'm here to talk to you about, close to my heart, food. So everybody is a foodie today, and as you know, last week I did a video on some of my favorite family-friendly resorts to host your wedding at if you're a foodie. This week I want to talk to you about some of my favorite adults-only all-inclusives in Cancun and Riviera Maya to host your wedding at. First, if you don't mind, please feel free to subscribe to the videos. Maybe hit the bell for notifications. I post new videos every Tuesday, everything about destination weddings. So let's talk about adults-only resorts to host your destination wedding at for foodies. Okay, my favorite. I'm going to tell you this right up front. This is my favorite, Leblanc Cancun. I would say in the past year, I've stayed there 4 to 5 weeks. I mean, when COVID happened, it was the first place I went to, set my office up there, stayed there for 2 weeks. I couldn't get enough of the place. The food is amazing. I have done a video. I'll try to link to that as a food tour. So Leblanc is probably the only adults-only 5-diamond AAA resort in Cancun proper in the hotel zone. Now here's the thing with Leblanc. As soon as you get there, they introduce you to your butler. So you know this is going to be a little bit different. Now, the level of service is amazing, and that translates into the restaurants. So when you go there and you're looking for food, Yama is the Asian restaurant. Their Asian menu, I could just eat the appetizers. The tempura is amazing. The sushi, they give you a full sushi menu in addition to the appetizer menu. So if you want sushi for apps or sushi for dinner, they have a wide variety of sushi and sashimi. But everything in the Asian restaurant is very good. If you like Italian, the Italian restaurant here it's Bella. It has my favorite thing, and I know this is crazy to skip over, but let's get right to the menu, is tiramisu. I love tiramisu. They served the tiramisu last time I was there. They built it. It was deconstructed, and it was almost like Caesar salad by the side of the table. They built the tiramisu for us right at the table. It was really, truly, it was the highlight of my meal. Now, talking about the Italian restaurant and all the restaurants at Leblanc, Leblanc's wine list is probably the best wine list of included wines of any of the resorts in Cancun and Riviera Maya. I would estimate they have 12 to 15 bottles of wine that are included. Now, most resorts, if you say, hey, I'll have a red or a white, they're going to give you a Chardonnay or Merlot or maybe a Cabernet Sauvignon. Each of the restaurants at Leblanc will have some wines related to the culinary cuisine they're serving. So in the Italian, they may have a Pinot Grigio or Sangiovese. So the key is also, I was there with my wife, she wanted red, I wanted white. They put 2 bottles they opened us for us. And then after dinner, as we were leaving, the server said, oh, just take them with you. That's highly unusual. Most of the time, they're just pouring glasses for you. And the wine was very, very good. There's a steakhouse. You have Mexican. Now, they do have a buffet that's open for breakfast and lunch, but not dinner. If you're going to stay at LeBlanc, you really want to go to the buffet at lunch if you like hamburgers. I would estimate the burger is between 3/4 of a pound and a pound. I am not a burger eater, but the burgers there are very, very good, and you can customize them. They grill them up right in front of you. They have a lot of other raw items that they'll grill for you as well. One of the things I've seen at Leblanc is the pastry chef here is amazing. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, no matter which restaurant, the pastries are great. I can't miss at Leblanc is Luminaire, which is their French restaurant. The plating is beautiful. The meal I've had there at Luminaire is the same quality of food that I've had at any restaurant in Philadelphia, Atlanta, New York, same quality. Again, this is just my opinion. I eat out a lot and I like food, so I would say you definitely want to try it. It's a slow-paced meal, and if they have the onion rolls, ask them if they have them. You definitely want to order some extras. They come out nice and warm, and they're very good. They have a couple cool desserts, but the nice thing at Leblanc, after you're done dessert at the restaurant, they have a coffee bar and pastry shop. You can stop in over there and have some other treats. Out by the pool, one of my other favorite things they have there is an ice cream stand that has some great cookies and ice cream during the day. The other thing about Leblanc that I really like is tacos. So if you're out by the pool or the beach, the butlers will bring you a menu, and you can just sit in your chair and they'll bring you lunch. But the tacos on the menu are very good. And that is Leblanc Cancun, probably my favorite adults only for food. Actually, one of my favorite adults only hotels, but a great place to host your wedding at. And also, even though it's off topic, the nice thing, and one of the nice things about Leblanc is one wedding a day. Try to find another resort. Only one wedding a day right now. So that's Leblanc in Cancun. One of my other favorites has a similar vibe of Leblanc is the Palafitos at El Dorado Maroma. So the Palafitos are the overwater bungalows that you've all seen that look like Tahiti, but in Mexico there's only one resort currently that has overwater bungalows. So this is El Dorado Maroma, so it's on the beautiful Maroma Beach and the Palafitos. So staying at the Palafitos is really unique. There's only 28 of them. There's a restaurant dedicated just to Palafitos guests. It's open breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and each time you eat there, it's an experience. The plating is beautiful, the menu is very nice, the portion sizes are good, but at dinner really is my favorite time to go there. The key is they've got oysters, they have lamb, you name it, they have it. And the menu changes a couple times a week. So one of the things is that if you're there for a week, the nice thing is staying at the Palafitos is you have access to the 5 or 6 other restaurants at El Dorado Maroma. So El Dorado Maroma is only about 125 rooms total, so it's a smaller resort. So again, if you're looking for a party, this is not the place. If you're looking for relaxation, great service, an amazing beach, this is the place. They also have some cool wedding venues as well. So the key at El Dorado Maroma, one of my favorite restaurants there is the Caribbean restaurant. So they really have some good stuff, jerk chicken, they usually have tostones, really cool, so maybe some curry goat. So it's a really unusual restaurant, but I think my favorite restaurant there is a Peruvian restaurant, Lemon. It sits right on the sand. It's usually open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So the key is you want to try to get there at least every day, or at least once your stay for each one of those meals, because the breakfast is totally different than the other breakfast at the other restaurants, and dinner is ceviches and a lot of fresh fish and a lot of unusual cuts of meat that are from Peru. Now, my favorite drink there, don't miss this drink, is the pisco sour. If you have 2 or 3 of them, they go down very easily, but it's bringing back great memories. So just order the pisco sour at El Dorado Maroma. A great resort for foodies, and again, because it's a smaller resort, the food and beverage matter is always around. They also have an Asian restaurant. They have a sushi bar in there and a really cool sushi table. So I'd say that there's probably 7 restaurants, 3 or 4 bars. Brands at the bars are very good. The wines are good also. I would say not the best wines around, but they do have an added wine list. But El Dorado Maroma, and staying at the Palafitos, you're assigned a butler, and the butler will enlighten you on some customized things related to your stay in the Palafitos. So they'll bring you cookies, they'll bring you kind of little special treats. But what you do is your butler will have a preference sheet on you. So once he knows what you like, it'll just mysteriously, magically show up. One of the newer resorts for adults only that has really turned into a foodie haven is Unico. So Unico is probably about an hour south of the airport. It's closer to Tulum and Playa del Carmen. Beautiful resort. It's probably 350, 400 rooms. Really has a nice spa kind of vibe to it, but they really are trying to be a foodie destination as well. When you first come in the lobby, you'll see the lobby bar. The lobby bar is probably one of my favorite bars to just sit and have drinks at. The bartenders are great. They have a lot of fresh ingredients. They do some unusual drinks. They have a lot of tequilas and mezcals, so if you've ever wanted to try some tequila and mezcal, they have a vast selection there. And they do some unique drinks with the tequilas and mezcal. I had a drink there that they made lit it on fire. They made it smoke. It was pretty cool. Let's go back to restaurants now as part of the foodie experience. They have a Mexican restaurant, and what they do is a couple times a year they change the chefs. They'll bring a chef in from somewhere else in Mexico, and they change the menus. They try to do a lot of the Mayan food. So one of my favorite things there is the pibil, which is a pork dish from the Mayan area in Merida. But their desserts are very good. I've had multiple meals there, very unique. So if you're thinking tacos, they may have some tacos as an appetizer. We've had tuna tacos as appetizers, but it's not typical Tex-Mex. This is real Mexican. They also have an Asian restaurant, which is called Mura, which I highly suggest if you're there for a short stay for a wedding or going to host your wedding there. Again, Asian fusion with Japanese as well as a little bit Mexican fusion in there. They do have sushi. They have some really unique desserts and really unique drinks. So they try to match the drinks with the restaurant. So if you go into one of the restaurants at Unico, ask them if they have a special drink of the day or a special drink of the restaurant, because they're trying to really pair the culinary experience, both food and alcohol. For your wedding, again, they will work with you in terms of customizing the culinary experience for your guest, and that is Unico, which is in the southern part of the Riviera Maya. Now, my last resort, which I really like, which again, there are a lot of the adults-only resorts there, and they all have good food. But this group I'm giving you, I think, are my top 4 or 5 in terms of the food quality, the presentation, the experience. So my last one of my favorites is, and it was probably one of the last adults-only resorts I spent 2 weeks at, is El Dorado Casitas. So it's El Dorado Royale and El Dorado Casitas. The Casitas are kind of the boutique VIP experience within El Dorado Royale, but pretty much as long as you're in the El Dorado Royale or Casitas, you have the same culinary experience. This is one of the only resorts I know of in the coast as an adults-only resort that has a food show. It has something called Fuentes. Now, Fuentes is pretty unique. They'll have the chef up front. There are big screen TVs all over, and basically the chef is cooking in front of you, so it looks like you're watching the Food Channel or Chopped or something. But they also have Pedro, who's playing the guitar up there, and they also have the sommelier. And this is all, included. They're now charging a very minimal reservation fee, so I think it's like $10 US for the experience, but it's well worth it. The key is, if you're going to do Fuentes, you want to talk to either your butler or your concierge as soon as you get there and ask them to show you the menus. It's one of the few restaurants at this resort that you do need to have reservations. I've stayed there a lot of times, and I've probably only eaten at Fuentes 5 or 6 times, because many times I look at the menu and it's just not something I like on there, because again, it's a 5 or 6 course menu, and then they'll also do some pairings with alcohol or beer. Now, every now and then they'll have a competition there where there'll be the sommelier versus the mixologist. They're a lot of fun to attend, but it's really an interesting experience, Fuentes, so it's really for foodies. Now, let's look at the rest of the resort. So the resort has probably 20 to 22 restaurants and bars to choose from. So again, you're not going to go hungry. Let's talk about some of my favorites. There are 2 Italian restaurants. My favorite, though, is Casita d'Italia. Very, very nice experience. Has a nice vibe to it. It's more an upscale vibe. They have a cheese cart. The entrees are amazing. There's probably 5 or 6 apps that you could just order that are amazing. The tiramisu, again, going back to my favorite things, tiramisu. The tiramisu there is very good. The wine list is good as well, but I definitely think you want to try the Casita d'Italia. Talk to your concierge when you're there, because certain restaurants are open certain nights, so you want to check in with them. Now, every restaurant at the El Dorado resorts are going to have little symbols on them for whether they're vegetarian or vegan or gluten-free. But the one thing I've noticed, as soon as you walk into the restaurants, and this is at El Dorado Royale, also at El Dorado Maroma I mentioned, they're going to ask you, do you have any food allergies? They're very cognizant, and they're open to customizing to your dietary needs. One of my other favorite restaurants at El Dorado Royale Casita is Kampai, which is the Asian restaurant. So they have Asian fusion, they have sushi, they have sashimi. Now, they're usually open for lunch and dinner, different menus. I would say the dinner menu is really much larger than the lunch menu, but it's also a great alternative for lunch. Their apps are very good, and of course they have green tea ice cream, which is pretty unique. But I would definitely try that. If you're going to eat there, you want to ask them for the Mai Tai. It's very good as a drink. A few of the other restaurants I like at El Dorado Royale and Casita would be Rincon, which is the Mexican restaurant. Again, they do have fajitas and tacos, but I would say that's 25% of their menu may be Tex-Mex, and the other 75% is truly Mexican. Stuff that we in the U.S. may not see a lot, but I would say try it. Their chips and salsa and pico are very good. Just watch that hot habanero sauce. They'll warn you about it. It's hot. Now, this restaurant is open for breakfast. It's kind of in a far corner of the resort, but I would tell you, you definitely want to try going there for breakfast one day. It's a very unique breakfast. Now, El Dorado Royale does not have buffets. Now, marketing term they use is a food display. So it's their spiff on a buffet. Their food display is only open for breakfast, and they only have one. So if you're looking for buffets at adults only resorts, this resort does not have a buffet in the evening or for lunch. The other nice thing with El Dorado Royale and Casita, it sits right next to Generations, which is a family-friendly resort. And the key is that guests at El Dorado Royale and Casita have access to Generations. That's 4 or 5 more restaurants. So you definitely want to venture over there. I mentioned in my other video, they have Indian there. They have a wine-inspired pairing restaurant, and they also have another Asian restaurant with sushi. So when you put all of that together, it is a foodie paradise. Now here's the thing with all of these different resorts. Again, these are adults only, 4.5 to 5-star resorts. The culinary experience for you as a foodie is going to be amazing. I will tell you, if you're picky with your eating, just talk to your waiter and your server when you're at the restaurants. The chefs at these resorts will customize what you want. I was with a client who is vegan, and we were looking at some menu items, and ultimately they explained what they wanted, and voila, it came from the kitchen exactly what he wanted. Level of alcohol at these resorts, again, are going to be very good. I would say that of the resorts we just talked about, Leblanc, which I told you up front is my favorite, is going to have the best alcohol and the best food of this group, but it's also probably the most expensive other than El Dorado Palafitos at El Dorado Maroma. I think Leblanc's room rates are going to be right under the Palafitos, but above everything else. But all of these resorts, great culinary experience. And again, there's other adults-only resorts that I know I'm going to get flack at from some of the resorts that watch my videos that I don't mention, such as Secrets and Breathless, and there's a couple more, but I think these are going to be my top resorts for a culinary foodie as adults only. Hopefully you enjoyed this information. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week.